I'm Becca, and I will, funnily enough, as I've just said, be your DM. Can you tell I'm tired? I will let all of my players introduce themselves as they see fit, so whoever fancies shouting first.
I guess because I would like a bit of order, will go top to down. Hi everyone, this is as usual. I'm playing Ishida the monk.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Scott, and I'll be playing Russell, the Furball Druid.
I'm the other Scott, and I'll be playing Cyrus the Rogue.
I'm Sam. I'm playing Nico, the elf bob.
I'm Traz. I'm playing Draxus, the conjuration wizard.
And I'm Colin. I'm playing Lavinia. I am the Triton Life Cleric.
And I believe Sam has volunteered as tribute for the recaps this week.
All right. Last week we, after fighting the 3 guys that were having a bath, or 4 guys, we kind of carried on through the forest looking for Addison, who was Mr. Winter's daughter who'd gone missing. We bumped into Janko. He was working for the Swiftfoot Crier. He was missing also, but we found him. He was following somebody with blue tattoos. We thought maybe a suspect, but we sent him back. After fighting some other sus people, we saw a woman with blue tattoos who was summoning some sort of shadow demon. Decided not to fight and just kind of scurry past. Where we bumped into Widow Midge, who had paid a guy to kidnap Addison so that people would pay attention to the less affluent children that were going missing. Russell turned into a giant spider and wrapped him up in a big ball of web, and then we took them both back to Artin, who that didn't go well. Nico kind of pissed him off, and they kicked everybody out. And then we went back to the tavern where we've been staying. I think that was as much as I can remember.
You took Addison back to her dad's, where you got your reward.
Of course.
Other than that, I think that was it. So, you have all done your doings before going to bed. You've slept in the inn in the same room that you all share, in the same beds that you do not all share. And morning is slowly coming. You've all had your long rest.
Sorry, Becca, could I do something in the middle of the night potentially?
Potentially. Run it by me and I'll see.
So basically, I'm going to kind of get up in a bit of a cold sweat, just stark upright, and we're kind of in the same room, right?
Yes, you're all in the same room as you have been all 3 nights you've stayed here.
Is Ladinia there by any chance? Is she asleep?
Are you asleep, Ladinia?
Yes, Lavinia would have been early to sleep, to be honest.
Could I go up to her and just kind of nudge her awake quickly?
You can certainly try.
I'm gonna try going up to her and nudge her awake. I'll be like, I'm really sorry. I need to speak to you.
Probably, yes, how can I help?
Not here. Somewhere a little bit more private, please.
Of course, one moment. I get out of bed, put on some clothes, not the armor, because that's going to be far too noisy.
And I just want to go somewhere that's a little quiet. So like if the bar downstairs has like a quiet booth, I just want to go there.
Do me a favour, make me stealth checks as you leave the room.
Oh shit! I haven't rolled.
And look, you still rolled fairly well.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. I still need to roll though.
I'm assuming because I didn't put the heavy armor on, I don't have disadvantage for it.
Yeah, no, you don't have disadvantage. So, both Cyrus and Russell, you don't hear Ashida leave, but you do hear Ladinia leave. So you're sort of woken up, ever so slightly taken out of your sleep, to the sound of Ladinia leaving the room.
Given the fact that Russell is currently snoring like a train going up a hill, I would doubt it.
Okay.
I'll just note it and then just go back to sleep.
So you go and find the bar is fairly empty. To be fair, it's closed, in fact, and the dude is sleeping. So the downstairs bar area is probably your quietest place.
Yeah. Once I'm there, I'm just gonna sit her down and say, I need you to tell me what happened yesterday.
What part of
Everything. I don't remember anything what happened yesterday.
is this a common occurrence with you?
No, it's never happened before. But I can't remember anything. The last thing I remember was we found these 4 guards and we tied them up, but that's about the only thing I remember. I can't remember anything else from there. I remember one other bit where there was a spider, but that's about it.
At which point, Ladinia just kind of chuckles a little bit, and yes, you did have an adverse reaction to our friend Russell transforming, and seemed to be on edge for quite a while.
But I don't remember anything else that happened. The only thing I remember was those 2 things, and the next thing I know is waking up to right now.
Okay. So after the fight at the hot springs, we managed to sway 2 of them to our side. We explored. We fought off a wolf and rescued the reporter for the Swiftfoot. He apparently has returned back, but we've not checked on him yet. He may still be missing. I doubt his ability to survive. There were a few more guards. There was a woman in the middle of a conjuration who we passed by. And eventually there was the gentleman who had been hired by the widow Midge to cause a scene by kidnapping young Addison.
Oh. Did we kill anyone?
We did slay a few of the second wave of guards. The woman with the ritual was gone by the time we returned, and we have turned over both the gentleman and the widow Midge to Artem.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Sorry, I woke you up. I, I just needed to understand what happened yesterday.
Of course, if you do continue having the issues with your memory, then please let me know. I may be able to
It's
look into.
it's not so much an issue with the memory. It's so much an issue with what I do when I can't remember. You see, being from my background, I have so much contact with the Feywild that there are stories that one can lose themselves and become someone else, or something else, more conniving or more vicious and more cunning embodiment of themselves.
Yes, I have heard tales of the people taken to the Feywild losing days, months, or years. I to prevent this, I shall keep a journal.
I shall try. Thank you. Um, um,
It might also be best to raise this with our other companions, just in case we have a recurrence. I would not do it without your permission.
no, you can tell them if you want it. I just need you to promise that if I start acting a bit weird, that you'll knock me out, because it is something that my mother warned me about, and I thought I had it under control, but clearly I don't at the moment. Clearly, I still have a lot to learn.
Of course, if need be, I will incapacitate you.
Thank you. Again, sorry to have woken you. It's just I couldn't remember anything, and it's not in my nature to kill. So
Think nothing of it. This is obviously something that's been weighing on your mind.
thank you. Yeah. I'll go back upstairs.
So do
I
you-
take a couple of minutes to make a couple of notes and little moment just to make a couple of mental notes before heading up myself.
And the night passes without any incident. Then sun starts creeping up through the window. You'll wake up after your long rest. How would you like to proceed?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Drax will probably get up, even though he went to bed a little bit later. He'll probably get up a bit earlier, head down and see the tavern owner, see if he's could have, if he could, or if he has already put some fresh water out in the wash area.
I have, sir. It was fresh not very long ago. You are more than welcome to use it.
Thank you. And Drax will go out, have a good scrub up and clean, and he will pull out a sort of file out of his pack, and as he's cleaned himself off, he'll start rubbing down some of the larger gemstones on his body to file them down so they do not grow. Making sure nobody's his familiar will be keeping an eye out for anybody coming nearby, but he'll do that for a little while, get cleaned up, and then head back into the main area and have some breakfast and such.
Cool beans. Is everyone else making their way downstairs?
Yeah. Ishida didn't really sleep particularly well last night, so he'll eventually make his way downstairs.
I guess Nico would be going down fairly early as well, but not doing anything really, just keeping to himself.
I'm going to wake up and do the usual morning prayer before heading down for breakfast.
I'll get up, pack up my leaves, and start preparing my spells before heading down.
I also come down last. Just waits until everyone leaves. Considers previous few days' events. While staring back at the reflection of himself in his dagger, sheaths it, and then will join the others downstairs last.
Cool. So you've all made your way down to the dining room, the inn. There's a couple of people milling around in the inn. As usual, people coming in for breakfast before heading off for their day's work. No one really of note that you notice. Do you all sit at the same table this morning, or are you doing your normal of ending up sitting everywhere else but with each other?
I would assume if like 2 or 3 people, I'll try to sit next to Ladinia or as close to Ladinia as possible.
I would have taken a different table than Draxus.
I'll take somewhere with a good view of as many people in the bar as possible. Not to be deliberately not making as if I'm like avoiding the rest of the group if possible, but if I happen to be sitting somewhere that's far away, I just happen to be sitting there.
Cool.
I'll plonk down just close to my friends, wherever there is a space where I'll fit.
You've got used to sort of where you can fit and where you can't fit in the pub by now, so it's not too hard to find a space at either table with either Draxus and I assume Nico or Ladinia and Shida, or even with Cyrus on his table.
I think I'll plonk down next to Lavinia. Actually, she's a rather interesting breakfast companion.
So you're just sitting having breakfast. He brings it out to you, puts it down in front of all of you, with the drinks he's learnt you liked by now. So water for people, a bit of pale ale for someone. I think he'd remember. Becca does not. And yeah, so there's a few people milling around. There's a sort of young female half-elf in the corner with papers spread about her table, intently looking at them, and there's a group of like city guards that are coming in for their breakfast, and then there's a couple of shady-looking people, as shady as you can look in this town, just sort of huddled in a corner, intently focusing on a map, and you see them point map, bit of paper because you can't tell what it is. And you see them sort of pointing and talking and discussing. Other than that, not many people in. It's a fairly quiet morning, other than you guys coming downstairs.
Seeing as Nico's not eating breakfast, can I make some sort of perception check to see what if I can kind of catch what they're talking about, the shady looking guys?
Yeah, you can certainly try. So you're staying where you are and just sort of trying to overhear.
Yeah.
Cool, go for it.
Nope.
Nope. You have that on DM Whisper as well, so that was a 12 for everyone else. No,
Oh, yeah.
you can't quite catch what they're saying. It's a little bit too low, whispers, a little bit too far away.
Okay.
I'm going to
Could
spend a
I?
minute staring at any one particular figure in that group and using Master of Intrigue, try and figure out something about them. Leave it to DM discretion as to what I find out.
I don't know what that
If
is.
anything.
You're gonna have to link it to me.
I'm just trying to track it down myself as I'm talking.
There we go. Did it for you.
That's not what I was actually thinking of what it was done, but yeah, I'll just be observing them, see if I can pick up anything with accents, where if they're local, if they're from elsewhere, unusual languages, so on, so on.
As far as you can tell, they're speaking common. And the accent doesn't sound out of place here, but it's not quite local.
Could I ask whoever's on my table, kind of? So, do we know what's happening with all the missing kids? Were we able to solve the problem?
Alas, no. The lead we had was a dead end.
So I think so. We need new leads, then it seems.
I think we need to go back to the poorer part of the town and do some investigation there.
I guess that's where we should start then.
Yes, we'll raise it with the others after breakfast.
Yeah, of course.
So you'll have your breakfast, finish up. The innkeep starts clearing up around you, taking your plates away, making sure you enjoyed your food. And the day is yours, so. Guide me, O players, where do you want to go? What do you want to do?
Did sorry.
No, you go on.
Did Nico or Cyrus pick anything up from the suspicious people? I think Cyrus didn't. Oh, sorry, Nico didn't. But did Cyrus pick anything up?
I may have, but as of yet, I've not said to anyone. I'm
Okay.
still observing.
I'll wait for kind of everyone to finish up their breakfast and everything. That's it. Then shall we get going to 4 districts? Seems that's where most of the kids were kidnapped from.
Well, in hindsight, surely that the blue woman that was summoning some sort of demon is a pretty hefty suspect. I mean, Janko said he was after somebody with blue tattoos. I guess that's the closest we've seen.
There was someone summoning something with the tattoo. When was this?
Yesterday.
Yes, she was the woman in the middle of the conjuration ritual.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't recall for a second. And we never stopped her.
No. We were on the trail of a missing child. But there's one person that's saying that there's a possible suspect with blue tattoos, and then we've already come across one such person. Maybe that's at least something that we can ask around about. If anybody's seen that person, just a thought.
I guess then we should sorry.
No, after you.
I guess we should then get going then. The longer we wait, the more likely we're less likely to find the kids.
Perhaps we should see if Janko did return to the Swiftfoot crime.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
My thoughts exactly.
Russell
As
and
we all
Cyrus.
start. Sorry, on you go.
No, after you.
On you go.
I was going to say, Russell and Cyrus, you noticed during the conversation about the children, the woman with papers covering her table, sort of you notice her listening to you and making notes and sort of shifting through the papers and adding notes here and taking away notes there, but she's listening to you while you're discussing the missing children.
I'll do that thing where you obviously stare back and go, I know you're listening. And I know you're looking at us, kind of like counter stare.
Oh, she's not staring at you. She's not like intently staring at you, but you sort of catch her eye. She catches your eye every now and again and just carries on making notes and things.
I roll my eyes and give Wonder what Nico and give him a little tap on the shoulder. I might be stepping on something here, but just in the off chance, be ready to do what you do best, if you won't mind. And I walk over to a table.
Okay. You hear her mumbling as you're coming up. There has to be a connection to the disappearances. It's right here, but I can't see it. Where is it? There's got to be a connection.
Connection to what? And just I'll pull a chair over and just sit next to her.
She looks up at you and carries on looking down. Goes, the devil of Dravinan, of course. It's got to be. He's got to be the one taking them.
The devil of Dravinan. And I'm sitting there with an internal monologue going, this fucking town is the absolute pits. But out loud, do tell.
He's a creature that lives in the slums. He's meant to live in the slums. No one's seen him, but he's got to be the one taking the kids. They found where the most recent one was taken from, and it's near where he is. It's definitely near where he is. I just need to find out how he's doing it, what he's doing.
I'm just taking a mental note of everything that she's saying. Just like, Do you have anything like? Let's look back in the chat. Any actual evidence that this devil moves around that you can possibly use as like evidence? You know, some sort of proof other than idle speculation.
I haven't got to go over there yet, but where the most recent abduction happened, the well in the slums area. There's got to be evidence there. There's got to be. The child's mother lives barely 5 feet away from it.
At that point, I can go, excuse me, just 1 second. Get up from the table, walk over to Lavinia and goes, excuse me, my dear, would I be able to borrow you for a few moments? I feel like out of everyone here, you're probably the closest thing to an expert on what we might have been discussing over here.
Of course, lead on.
And I'll lead her back over to the ladies' table.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Lavinia, and who are you? Am I addressing?
Oh, sorry. My name's Fajara Mayram. I make these names up and I can't pronounce them. Fajra for the first name and Meryem for the last name. And she's a sort of young female half-elven lady with long black hair.
Well, this lady was regaling me of a possible possible cause for all the missing children. Seeing as how we're on a similar path, and given the details which she's already described, I figure your input might be invaluable, if valued at all. So, I kind of sort of open arm, like, shall we discuss?
A devil, you say? Is this in the literal sense, or is this something more abstract?
I don't know, I've never seen him, but there's whispers of him and talking of him throughout the history of the town. He's here, and she points to a random bit of paper where there's just some childish scribbles of sort of the boogeyman coming to get them. And here, and there's a different page where there's talk of local livestock from about 50 years ago being killed in the night. And now the children going missing, and all the bad things that's happened to the city. Town.
How much of this evidence actually looks official, and how much seems to be stories and hearsay?
Roll me an investigation check.
Could I give it advantage and
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of hero it myself?
As far as you can tell, it all looks fairly, at least, if not sort of official reports, but like proper newspaper articles and like eyewitness testimony.
May we take a copy of the map where the sightings have been most recent? We are investigating the disappearing children, and any leads at this point would be very helpful.
Oh, I don't have a map, I'm afraid. I know the young girl they found out recently, this morning, in fact, that she was taken from the well in the old, in the slum district. That would be a good place to start. If you find me any information to help prove that he exists, people think I'm crazy, but I'll pay you. I'll give you 15 gold if you can help me prove he exists.
My dear, if this leads to the missing children, then we shall be paying you for your information.
I live not far from here, next to the new pub that's opening up, the Shady Spigot. Just come find me there if you can get any information to help me prove that this devil exists.
Of course, and as I say, thank you for this lead to go on. We were going to head over there to investigate. We now have a more solid starting.
Well, if you do go to the well, the child's mum lives not far away. You should knock on her door.
And is there an easy way to identify her home?
It's got a really colourful door. The kid likes playing with paints, so she lets her paint all over the door.
Thank you. So, just from any of the reports there, would this have been any kind of familiar, or was it just, again, too much hearsay and rumour?
Yeah, fairly hearsay and rumour.
Okay, so I go back over to Ashida and Russell and say, we at least have a starting point now. I think it might be worth to rally the troops.
Then shall we get going? The longer we wait, the more children are potentially disappearing.
Exactly. Now we just need to convince the Dragonborn that this is a worthy endeavour. So yeah, I go over to Jaxus and Nico. Gentlemen, we have a lead on the missing children. Will you be joining us on this, or do you have other plans for the day?
I'll be joining. I'll just look up and then look back at Draxus.
Draxus sort of just looks between Ladinia, Nico, and his familiar, and just sort of gives out a half-hearted sigh, and it's like, so be it. I will, if Nico's going, I will accompany. But it would be wise while we're here to. No, I would like to drop into the Swiftfoot Crier just to check that on Janko. While it's relatively close.
Of course. Though to whet your appetite, there is talk of an unusual beast known as the Vivian Devil.
Interesting. You've sparked a bit of interest. But saying that, that reminds me I wanted to speak to Russell so we can talk on our way to the slums, is it?
Yes, there's a central well that is going to be our starting point for the investigation.
Right, well, no point in wasting time. Drax sort of picks up his bag and dusts himself off a little bit and starts heading towards the door.
Yeah, Nico.
Okay, I of course head over there as well, waiting for Ishida and Russell to follow.
I'll gulp down what's left in the of the breakfast in front of me and dive for the door.
Ishida will follow, trying to be as close to Ladinia as possible.
Cool. On a very quick side note, Nico, when you chose not to have breakfast this morning, you felt a disappointed sigh in the back of your head. Just very faint, barely noticeable, but just niggling in the back of your head, just a very
Noted.
but yes, so you'll leave. Are you stopping at the Swiftfoot Crier on your way, or are you going straight to the well?
Yeah, we are going to stop off at the Swiftfoot.
Yes, we're making this concession.
Cool. So,
Seeing as no one directly called for him, Cyrus will follow shortly after. But we'll check just before they leave the tavern. Are the shady guys still around?
yep, they're still there, sort of looking at their bit of paper and pointing and twisting it round and looking at it at different angles and very intently focused on this bit of paper.
Could I maybe try and take a peek, see what they're doing, see what they're listening in, anything? Perception? Pick up?
If you want to try and take a peek, I say make me a stealth check. If you're just trying to listen to the conversation, make me a perception check.
That's 20.
Yeah, okay. So you get close enough without them noticing. You can see that they've got a map in their hands, and there's 3 X's marked upon it in different parts of what you recognise as part of Dravinan.
Would I know where those locations were?
Roll me a history check. See if you can pinpoint from your travels. You don't know exactly. They're in the slums somewhere, but without taking the map with you, you wouldn't be able to pinpoint exactly where.
Cool. And if I can just get like a little chance to kind of peer into the conversation just a little bit, and before, as I'm kind of like slowly walking out now, not listening to your conversation at all, kind of thing going on.
Make me a perception check.
Perception or deception? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Perception.
Perception. Cool.
Okay. Yes, you're hearing them going. Those braces are somewhere within this city. If we find them, we'll be rich. And basically, they're trying to work out where these marks exactly would be in the city and which one to try first.
Cool. And with that, I'll just spin around and walk out and catch up with the others.
Cool.
Can I just make a quick out of character comment? Becca, did you actually go back and find a picture without the cars in them?
No, Traz sent me one.
Oh.
So I don't know if he photoshopped it or what happened, but I got a picture without the cars in it.
Yeah.
It must have been driving you mad.
Hey.
No, I literally just put in town pictures and it came up with the exact same picture without the cars in it.
Gonna start counting times I'm gonna kill your characters for making jokes about the cars.
A little bit harsh, but
We're
fair.
gonna get run over, aren't we?
We're gonna get run over.
Yes, by a car. Anyway, so you're all off to the Swiftfoot Crier?
Yeah.
Yes, we
I'll
should
head
get
that way.
into the next gear and then head off.
Do you know what? If I had a backstory for Cyrus, I'd be twisting it so hard right now. But yeah, so you come to the Swiftfoot Crier, and it's as busy as it was the other morning. There's people running out with their bits of parchment, ready to shout the news of the day. Bertram is once again holding court in the middle of the place, and you do notice tucked in the corner is Jenko, speedily writing notes and things about you don't know what, you can't see, but yeah, just writing down whatever he's writing down.
Yeah. When Drax walks in and sees Bertram, he'll sort of just sort of give him a wave to catch his attention.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. You found him. I'm so glad you sent him back to us. I could not be running my news station without him. He is my best investigator, and now he's back, apparently writing a hot story. So I believe, if I remember correctly, I gave you a choice of what you could have if you brought him back to me. So have you made your choice?
I think the clockwork will suffice.
Of course. Wait right here and I will bring it to you. Try not to distract Jenko. He is easily distracted and I don't want him disappearing again until he's written his story. And he'll jump off of where he was and run through to the back room. And then about 5 minutes-ish later, he comes running back out and he hands you the clockwork amulet. He goes, there you go, thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful, thank you. Pleasure doing business. There is one other thing, if possible. I'm in the search for a pearl, if possible.
Not something I'd have. Maybe try the smithy. I know they do. One of the sisters there does occasionally work in jewellery. She may have one.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. But if there's anything else you would need, please don't hold back. I'm definitely, well, if it's as good as this, definitely willing to work for a good price.
I will keep you in mind, but for now, I'm just sending out the news.
Mm. And Drax will just nod and walk out.
Yep, you walk out. He goes back to holding court and sending this person in this direction and that person in that direction, and going, you go to the iron stockades, get any news for today, and you go over here. And Jenko's just sat in the corner, hurriedly writing down whatever he's writing down. So, do you carry on to the slums?
Ishida would want to. He's quite a bit impatient at this.
So now we know that Janko made it back safely, we should move to the well, correct?
Yeah, I'm keen to look at this well.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Let's move.
Would I be able to
Sounds
tell which way it is? Is there kind of any signs or anything?
You've been here well enough that that you know where the slums are. You've noted them a few times. You've never actually been there, any of you, but you've noted them. So you'd have a rough idea of sort of where they are, at least.
Well, I'll start walking towards that.
Sorry, I think you were saying something, Scott.
Yeah, I was just saying that Cyrus would just nod and follow along.
So yeah, you start walking towards the slums, and you start noticing it's not a sudden change from fairly affluent to not. It's a very gradual decrease in sort of amount of spare cash. And I believe Draxus and Russell were going to have a chat on the way.
Yeah, as we sort of head off and everybody goes, yes, let's head off and starts walking on, I sort of fall in next to Russell. Russell, I was saying last night I had a couple of ideas about the, the shape shifting you can do.
Well, like I said, I only figured out a little bit of it, but I can certainly happy to give things a go if you've got something in mind.
Well, maybe this, and he'll pull out one of his books, flick through a few pages, and open it up. And on the left page, you'll see sort of a Da Vinci's Man scale drawing of obviously the crag cat side and front profiles, and on the right hand page, you'll just see a nicely descript writing of like what it looks like, what its movement, its physical structure, sort of like a bio of it, basically. He just hands it over to you. Maybe this might be of interest.
Ooh, this looks interesting indeed. This looks very fancy. I'll need to have a good look at it for a bit. You don't mind me walking and reading?
No, of course not. I generally do the same thing. That's why
Just
I have this little one. He can be my eyes.
do me a favor and stop me if I'm going to trip over something, right?
You just see the little pseudo dragon look and sort of smile, and just the word "okay" pops into your head.
Thank you. And I'll just plant like the book is about 3 inches away from the end of the nose as I'm walking. And I will start to scan through the crag cat and see if what I can assimilate from it.
Cool, noted. Anything else? Anyone else want to do anything else as they wander to the slums?
No, Ishida's gonna try to get there as quickly as possible without rushing everyone else. And then I'll kind of look at everyone and say, so where are we going? I think Ladinia had some leads. Do you know which way we need to go?
Yeah, so I'm just keeping a lookout for the colourful door.
I'll keep a lookout for the well.
Cool. Both
General-
of you. Oh, sorry, Scott. After you.
I was about to say I'll take a general look around but I'll start walking alongside Nico and say, by the way, those gentlemen that were sitting in the bar with the map, something apparently valuable might be in the slums that may be of interest, maybe not. However, I believe that you and your friend Praxis, I believe his name is, correct? I'm still getting used to this weird group dynamic that suddenly formed up over the last few days. Perhaps if the opportunity should arise, that if we find, and I kind of give him a rough, describe the rough locations. I don't know exactly. It's like, oh yeah, there was like mark here, mark here, mark here in the slums. Vague description. I'll relay it. If we happen to be passing any areas that might possibly have this object, as vague as this might be, knowing you gentlemen have an interesting coin, apparently it's quite valuable. And then just carry on walking with the group.
Would you have sort of drawn where the marks were on the? Would you sort of drawn a rough map with the marks on it, or were you just describing them?
Yeah, I would have had a quick. Again, it wouldn't be fully detailed because I don't know the exact location, but I would have a rough draft of it to kind of pull out the notebook and show, just to kind of like illustrate the point.
There you go.
Alright, well, anytime we're in any of those areas, then I definitely would have my eyes peeled.
I would have mentioned it to the Traxxas directly, but he seems to be preoccupied. But
I'll pass the message on. He's quite keen to earn some coins, so I'll pass it on.
I've noticed. And seeing as how you're fairly capable in scrap, which always comes in handy, I figured I'd let you know the others. We'll be informed if and need be. Not keeping it a secret, mind you. Just we have other priorities.
Of course, of course. I'll definitely keep an eye out when we're at these locations. You never know.
Okay, so you carry on sort of travelling through the slums. It's not hard to find the well. It is kind of central to the area. In fact, excuse me for a moment. There we go. This is sort of the area around the well that you end up in. Ladinia, this building here is the one with the colourful door. And there's 4 or 5 people sort of milling around, getting water from the well, having a chat. You feel like this is where the main community for this area gathers to sort of meet each other and chat and pass the time of day.
Do we put our tokens on the board?
You can do.
Can I do like a general look around, see if there's any clues or anything?
Yeah, make me an investigation check.
Come on, big money. I rolled in the other chat. That's a 4.
No, you don't see anything. You're too many people, too much noise, a little bit distracted by what happened or what you don't remember happening yesterday. You don't manage to spot anything.
Can I take a quick look around?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Scott.
So can I take a look around? See if I notice anything?
Yeah, sure. Investigation check.
22.
Yeah, so you notice. Sorry, my cat just tried to dig her claws in my arm. She's now an unhappy cat. You notice behind the well, sort of around here, are several sets of footprints, and with the 22, you notice that they're quite aggressively moving. You can tell that they're sort of very erratic patterns, sort of show a quick struggle that broke out into a chase. The chase seems to lead east towards a sort of constricting path that leads sort of behind several buildings, which is here. And you notice a sign on the wall that says Spencer Alley. You can tell that there were 4 pairs of adult feet and 1 pair of child's feet.
I will relay that to the others. Struggle, chase, the street, and 4 adults and a child involved.
Which way did they go?
I just gave you a look at it like east, and I point towards where the street sign is.
I think that should be our first point of call then.
There apparently has been a child gone missing this morning. Their parent lives over in that house there with a colourful door.
Maybe we should knock on the door first. I mean, we're already here.
That's a good idea. You said it was this one, Becca.
No, this one.
Can I start moving up towards it?
When Ishida starts moving up towards it, I will grab him by the shoulder and turn to Ladinia and say, maybe you should take the lead on this one. As lovely as we all are, I think speaking to a mother might require a woman's.
I shall approach them. Yes, I move up and I knock on the door.
Okay.
And I'll be around
I will be
Virginia.
kind of perched there, just kind of keeping an eye out in case good or bad.
Okay. And what were you saying, Zuzu?
I'll be close to Ladinia. I basically don't trust myself at this moment, so I'll need to be with the cleric of the party.
And where are the others being?
Nico's gonna hang back by the well.
Drax will stay with him.
Cool. And Russell?
I'll hang back in that little group, and I'm actually going to take a little look around the well, just to see if I can see any signs of animals in the area. You know, spiders, rats, that sort of thing.
Make me a nature check. Nothing immediately sort of hits you as being particularly animal. It's mostly just human. Or not human. People. Two-legged sentient beings.
The big dangerous ones.
Yes. But yeah, so you knock on the door, Virginia, and oh, where'd I put it? This lady here answers the door. She sort of wrenches the door open, looking really excited, and then looks at you all and sort of sinks a little bit. She goes, "Oh, I thought you were my little Ruby, but you're not. I was hoping she was coming home. She's been gone so long."
Yes, we have heard of children going missing, but your daughter may be amongst them. As soon as we have this information, we hurried over. We are here to offer any assistance we can. My name is Rodinia, my associate here at Shida, and the gentlemen hanging by the well are all here to investigate what's going on.
Oh, I'm glad someone is. I don't think the guards are doing very much. They say they are, and I know Artem's a good man, and he probably is trying his best, but it doesn't feel like it.
He is rather overworked. There are pressing matters at the capital. This is why we have been subcontracted by himself to investigate.
Well, I sent her out to go and get something from one of the shops. It was nothing too much. I think it was just some bread. We needed it for her lunch for today, and then she never came back, and no one knows quite what's happened to her.
Did you hear anything suspicious or see anybody unusual or anything unusual?
I didn't know. I wasn't paying attention. I have her younger brother in here that I was. He's so young and he was screaming his head off. I didn't hear or see anything.
Don't worry. This may sound strange, but there has been a tale of the Vivian Devil. Is this something that you may have heard of?
Oh, have you been speaking to that nut job? Oh no, she's convinced of devils in the dark and monsters in hidden round corners. It's a myth. It's a story you tell children to keep them in at night and make them go to sleep.
She is the one who has set on a path to yourself, so at least she has some merit to her.
Potentially. I think if you want to speak to anyone, it's a little bit awkward. Her picture is around the city. But Jane Eyre, who runs the Starlings, she says she's got evidence of. She knows who's taking the children. She says she's got evidence. I can potentially take you to her if you promise not to just arrest her on sight and take her to Artin. But it would have to be later today. I can't do it tonight. Can't do it in the broad daylight.
We would very much like to take you up on your offer. And do not worry, I can promise you that we will not be in Arton's presence anytime soon, no matter what the circumstances.
Oh, I do feel bad. He's when they hadn't taken so many of our local guards away, it was a lot easier for him. It was so good. This was a safe place to be. Even down here in the slums, there was always people, always guards around, keeping us safe. But since they've taken away half his people. It's a struggle for him. I understand, but it seems like we're the ones missing out now.
I do understand, and I'm sure as soon as he can spare people, this will be more investigated and protection will return. But at the moment, we are here for you, and we shall investigate. Let us know when you are able to arrange a meeting. Until such time, we shall be examining the area. One of my associates has already pointed out that there may have been something suspicious.
I'm meant to be meeting her tonight. I can send a message to say I'll be bringing friends, so if you can be back here this evening, I can take you to her. Just after dark.
Of course. Of course, we shall come just at nightfall.
Can I ask how many of you there'll be? Is it just you three?
There are 6 of us. Is that too big a number?
No, that should be fine. I'll ask, and if it is, I'll let you know. But I need to ask, of course, first. She's very famous around these parts.
I have seen the posters, and I can understand how this may be delicate for her to be introduced to a large group of people. But we would appreciate it, and if the number is too much, I'm sure that we can arrange a smaller.
I'll find out. But thank you. I need to get back to little Jerome just now. He'll be waking up any minute.
Of course. Until nightfall then.
Thank you. And she'll quietly close the door as you sort of turn and leave.
Right, so I head back over to the well to pass on that we have a meeting with the head of the Starlings just after nightfall.
Splendid.
Alas, the Dravian Devil may just be a fairy story, though all of those do have some roots into it.
Surely all stories have a beginning or some mm, degree of truth to it. It might be something else completely, not necessarily a devil per se, but that's just a persona it has taken.
Wait. Are you saying we are going to meet this Jane Eyre?
I've been advised that she has some evidence as to who may be behind the kidnappings. If we find other leads before then we can cry off the meeting.
Why? If we find other leads, we can help the children, and then we can still go to this meeting and subdue this woman.
I have made assurances that we will not be trying to arrest her.
Why would you do that? She's a criminal. There are posters. It's what he's done.
At the moment, there are many leads that we need to follow and many false things going on in the town. I wish to keep our options open. If it turns out it is a suspicious circumstance, then I suppose we can subdue her.
There we go. So, where to next?
We have some tracks around the well. Maybe we can follow those and see if they bring us any information.
Didn't Silas say he found some tracks or something?
Yes, I had. And I'll repeat everything I said earlier.
I guess that meeting's not until much later, so we should perhaps explore the footprints for the time being.
Well, if you think they're relevant, we might as well follow them and see where they lead or such.
I'm not much of a tracker, so perhaps Silas will need to do that.
Could give it a try, I suppose.
I can give you a hand with that if you like.
Sure, Rebecca, what would you like me to roll for it?
So are you staying by the well at the moment, or have you followed the tracks at least where sort of you've seen them go because on your previous roll?
I'll follow them.
Okay, so you follow them into what is marked as Spencer Alley, and there's a heavy stench of sort of rubbish and refuse because there's heavy bins sort of lining this little alley. The cobblestone walkways are sort of coated in a thin layer of grease and grime, which is very unpleasant back here. I'm going to do something a little different here. Those that played my Valentine's Day one-shots, I'm not running you down in a minecart. However, it's going to be a little bit like that, so I'm going to ask someone, I'm just going to give you a check that needs doing, and as a group I want you to decide one person that will do that check for me, and there'll be a number of checks as we go along. And if you succeed or fail, we'll determine whether you get some information or if you don't from this area. So, the first check I would like someone to make is a investigation check down this little alley.
Just remind me because I wasn't part of that one shot. Are we allowed to assist other people?
No, just a straight check.
Drax will take it. Being a bit bored now.
Okay. So as you're sort of looking around this alleyway and investigating it, you can sort of find clear evidence in the sort of the grease and the grime that there was a child cornered in the alley, and a fight broke out, leaving several sort of chip and scratch marks where blades made contact with the surrounding stone in the back. Could someone make me a survival check, please?
I believe that's in my wheelhouse. No objections?
No?
No, go ahead, man.
Go for it.
Okay, so you look and you look and you can't quite sort of, it feels like there's a pattern to the sort of marks and the scrapes where the blades made contact. You can't quite make out sort of what the blades are or what they're doing or if they caught anything other than stone. But you do notice that they sort of lead towards the general area of a bin.
That way.
So this one is a choice. I can either have someone make a strength check to move the bin, or I can have a sleight of hand to try and sort of reach behind the bin.
I'll take sleight of hand.
Okay.
18.
Yep. So you sort of reach underneath and you sort of twist and turn, and you manage to reach behind this very heavy bin, and you pull out an obsidian ring that's attached to a finger. The ring bears the following mark.
Would I recognise it at all from anywhere?
Make me a history check. No, you don't. You don't recognise this from anywhere. It's not something you've seen before. And then, last but not least, sort of the signs of struggle have come to an end at this bin, and it becomes clear that a body was moved from the alleyway. But as the prints sort of move out into the open at the end of the alley, they disappear. So could someone make me an Arcana check, please?
Can I look at our Dragonborn?
Same person can't make a check twice.
Oh shit. Anyone else have Arcana?
So it'd leave Nico, Ladinia, or yourself to make the last check.
I'll look at Ladinia like,
I can try.
you're better off than I am.
No. So you can't tell how these tracks have disappeared. They just sort of disappear into thin air. It's like the person just sort of stopped moving and the body was stopped being dragged.
I'm guessing all this information would have been kind of shared by us, like once we kind of found the information from the individuals.
Would it have been?
I would have shared the information, yes.
I'll wait
Rustling
until
out and end, and
What were you saying, Scott, the first?
just had to wait until we got to the dead end before I went, well, there's this, and then reveal the finger with the ring on it.
Draxus, you recognise the mark on the
Yep,
ring.
I've already seen it. Can I make a history check or something?
You can try. It's a It's not a mark that you instantly recognise. It takes you a long time because it's from a long, long time ago. But it's a group of sorcerers who tried to channel very, very dark magic through certain means that you can't quite remember. But this is the mark that denoted them to each other. So they would have this somewhere on their person.
Draxus would go over to Silas, and if he allows him, he'll take the ring, the finger off of him, and start examining it. And he'll sort of like hold it, rotating it in his hand while he sort of just looked up into the air, concentrating for a few minutes. And just go, yes, a group. I read it somewhere. I can't remember the group of sorcerers. This is an identification or something. Supposedly they were trying. Well, in what I've read, they were trying to do some sort of ritual or spell. From what I can remember, it was some sort of dark magic, but not everything you can read is fact. So who knows?
Sorry, Becca. I'm just trying to remember. There was a bit of a rumor that the kids were being kidnapped by a group of like um, rogues or something, right? Kind of being turned into rogues, if I remember correctly.
There was a rumor going around that they were running away to join the army. Is I believe the one you're thinking of.
Okay.
There was also the woman saying that they'd been kidnapped by the thieves from the area.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the Thieves
the
Guild,
thieves.
the Starlings.
I'll turn to kind of Draxus after he kind of explains. I say, so this is getting all a bit too confused. We've have on the one hand rumors around devils, then rumors around thieves. Now you're talking about sorcerers potentially.
Well, the thieves are definitely a real thing, as we see on the posters, and they are quite a common occurrence in any decent-sized town. The Sorcerers is a book I read, some historical type tome. The devil is, like you say, just rumors. So
What do you think are the possibilities that maybe the sorcerers and the thieves are one and the same, if at all?
mm, doubtful, especially from what Lavinia said. The woman was speaking about the Thief Guild not connected, I would assume, but I may be wrong. But in truth, I don't. From what I remember reading, I don't think they were the Thieves Guild type of mage. But I could be wrong. It was old and long time ago, so they might have changed.
I guess we have too many leads. We need to kind of start narrowing them down, surely. But this sort of things isn't my forte. I'm not particularly one for investigation. Someone else would need to take the lead.
Would anyone else take lead, or shall I?
I think you are probably best suited for this, it seems.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'll, I'll put you forward.
Any objections?
No, you are definitely a inquisitive type, aren't you?
That remains to be seen. And try to think. Best proceed. All these threads make a tapestry. All these threads make a tapestry. I just can't seem to make the picture just yet. So we've checked everything in the local area. We can't seem to find, apart from this ring, the body stopped here. And if it hasn't appeared to have moved, surely so. If there's a body been here, surely either someone's thrown it in a cart, or in a side-eye Draxus, or some other means of removing it from sight.
Well, many means. As I look at the ring as well, do I see any runes or anything that it could be magical, or is it literally just a signet ring?
Make me an Arcana check. As far as you can tell, it's just a signet ring. You don't notice any arcane runes or anything on there.
Don't we think it's a bit unusual that if there was a body here, that no one would have been around to see it? I'd imagine even at night time, someone would have been around.
I suspect, and this may be me thinking out loud, but if a child were to get cornered from what it seems like, the child would probably start shouting, making noise. I find it difficult to believe that there would be no one around to hear this and therefore come out to help the child.
We're clearly dealing with somebody who has some use of arcane. I mean, they've made stuff disappear. What's to say they can't just silence somebody?
Indeed.
That seems fairly calculated if they want to silence the child.
Well, I mean, this feels like a fairly calculated string of abductions, does it not? I mean, you don't abduct this many children on a whim.
And they all seem to be at times when the child has been dispatched or is alone.
Yeah, this doesn't seem opportunistic to me. This seems, fairly, like you say.
Premeditated.
Uh-huh. Somebody's taken them, and there's a purpose to it.
Hmm.
If they're using magic, I'm not. I know a little bit of magic, but I'm not very arcane. Um, does it leave a trail behind it? Does it leave something you could follow?
Doesn't generally leave a trail per se, but under the right spells or circumstances, you can see the magic and like learn properties and such. Unfortunately, I do not have this capability as yet, but there are a few other ways of doing it.
It looks like a sort of glow, doesn't it?
From what I've read and researched, it varies depending on the caster of said spell, but it can glow, it can shine, twinkle. I've read a couple of different peculiar things that comes to them. I think I even read about someone who could smell magic. It's very odd.
Hang on, I'm going to give this a go, and I'm going to use Furball magic, and I'm going to detect magic.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not hot with my schools of magic, so excuse me while I quickly realise I should have noted down the school of magic of the spell. I will be just a moment. Entertain yourselves talking.
Talking.
So I'll be looking around frantically with with the scent of mulch filling the alley.
I like the smell. Take a
It's a
big.
lot more pleasant than the garbage smell it used to have.
Can I just say this is well baffling to me as a player?
Yeah, but you don't know what's going on half the time.
Exactly, which is why it's even more baffling to me.
If I were to jiggle my house keys in front of you, you'd probably think, "Oh," so I don't think that really counts as much, does it?
Okay, that's just hurtful, but a fair assessment.
Anyway, right. So
Isn't the mastermind after all?
you cast your detect magic, and you can't see anything specific that's glowing that's magical, but you get a faint abjuration feeling.
Ooh. Oh, that's like a brick wall. That is. That's unusual. Not anything specific, but it feels like I'm butting my head against a brick wall for a minute there.
Was he banging his head against a brick wall?
No, he wasn't. The type of magic is protection magic, so unlike a brick wall.
I'll just look at Draxis. What do you know? What is it?
Well, if it's hitting something, generally abjuration, I'd say. Protection, defense, defensive in minor, but generally protection. Bit peculiar for it to be there. For something like a body disappearing, I would have expected evocation to destroy it or conjuration to make it disappear. But abjuration's an interesting one.
Sorry for some of us who don't understand Arcana. What does that all mean?
From what our large friend here is sensing, which is quite handy and interesting, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, abjuration, like I say, is defensive. Usually, wards, shields, things to protect yourself from getting hurt. Generally, like I say, a few wards can help defend areas, but generally something to protect. So unless they're using it to hide someone, maybe I'm not too sure.
Did you say there was like a wall over there? Could I just try to see if I can touch this wall?
Right, you can try and touch the wall.
And do I feel a wall?
Yes.
And where Russell kind of found the abjuration magic, can I kind of feel around there, see if there's anything that my hand goes through?
It was thin air. It was in the middle of nowhere, so it wasn't like on a wall or anything. It was just like a faint trace where the footprints and the drag marks ended.
You say the trying to think without actually looking at any spells. I'm going through as many spells as I can think of.
Make me an Arcana check.
Before I do, I don't know if it's the right school. I have no idea. I know there's if the tracks disappeared, I know there's a spell called snare that basically makes a snare trap, but I don't know if it's abjuration.
Okay, that spell is abjuration, but that's not what this spell is. It's odd. So it feels like a spell that you've heard of called Pass Without a Trace, but it's been manipulated to, rather than hiding people walking, to hide people's tracks.
Right. Interesting. Drax sort of like pacing back and forth, thinking. You keep on seeing him just like look at his familiar and sort of nod and shake his head, and he's obviously having a peculiar internal monologue. And then he stops and clicks his fingers and goes, "Pass without a trace." I think that would work, but the way this is definitely working differently. It allows people to move quieter and generally go unseen a little bit easier in cases.
If I can do that one.
Huh. But yeah, that's obviously that makes sense for why the tracks disappeared then. Uh, but this is obviously some sort of manipulation on it to make the tracks disappear, as well as just making them be quiet. Very interesting.
So, is there any way to follow these tracks, or have they been obscured completely?
I look at Russell. Can you sense which direction the magic flows? Like I say, I've only researched the spell you're using.
I only got a very vague sense of it. I don't really get a direction so much. But come to think of it, if there's tracks there, I wonder if I could perhaps try and scent them out. I mean, it's a long shot with all the garbage, but I can give it a go.
Yes. You used it to find a child yesterday. It might actually work. Um, and he like waits and holds the finger out. I don't know. It's the best thing I've got.
I will wild shape into my wolf form and start sniffing.
Cool. I believe Wolf would normally get advantage, wouldn't it? However, I'm gonna say because of all the smell and the horrible stench of garbage and the dirt and the grime, that it would just be a straight roll.
Makes perfect sense. Hang on, I'll just pull it up.
Okay. So it's very hard to get a scent. You do pick up a very faint one. It sort of leads off into or out into the sort of road that leads beyond here and sort of leads out of the city a little way or out of the slums and into sort of the city and then loops back about on itself back into the town, and then that's where you kind of lose it. It doesn't kind of lead you anywhere in particular. It sort of just leads you back into the town after going out of the town, and then sort of just you lose the track, you lose the scent.
Ooh. Now, I know many, many things. Not. But if the scent in coming from the town is dead and it sort of gets lost, but the scent in here is still fresh, I'm thinking this scent's in here somewhere.
Do you think there may be more clues hidden amongst the refuse?
Can't say for sure. Wouldn't hurt to look, though, would it?
Can I ask a bit of a mechanical question? Sorry. I know you've kind of changed things around in terms of the investigation a little bit, but if we were to kind of go back and say, okay, I want to move this, I want to move that, like the trash can, you said, if we can either choose to move it or we can do like a sleight of hand check. If we were to kind of go back and try to move it, is that okay, or is that in the context of this new system not allowed?
I would allow it. However, you've got what that moving the bin would have achieved. It was the same. It was
Okay.
two different ways of achieving the same result.
Okay, right. So are we at a loss once again in terms of our lead? I'm asking the party.
I mean, I know if the people that had this bin ate meat, that's about all the lead I can give you at the moment.
This is getting quite confusing as to what's happening. I'll look at kind of Cyrus and say, if you seem to at least be a bit inquisitive, would you happen to know anything about any suspicious groups that might be operating from here?
Would I know of any suspicious groups that would operate in the nearby area? I doubt it.
No. I think we did this check on the first day that you hadn't really heard. We kind of heard of the Starlings as being the sort of local thieves guild, but hadn't really heard of them in depth. And there's nothing else that's springing to your mind of any other sort of shadowy groups in this area.
So well, I'll just say nothing local.
This is indeed frustrating.
Yes, it seems this avenue exploration has closed for now. Is there anything we could do until nightfall? Maybe staying in the same area?
We could potentially speak to the other families who have had their children kidnapped. I do not know what more information they can give, but potentially they could give us something different. What do you think?
Unfortunate, we don't really know which of the homes would contain families with missing children.
I'm sure we could ask around. I mean, we are, after all, trying to solve this problem for them, so surely they should be forthcoming with information.
Are there still people milling around the well area, or have they all left now?
They've all kind of milled about away. It's sort of fairly quiet now. It's sort of getting to, by the time you've sort of done your investigation and you followed the trail and ended up back here, it's probably sort of early to mid-afternoon. So people have started to sort of go get the kids, take them home, get dinner on the table, that sort of thing. Well, not dinner, lunch on the table. So it's fairly quiet, there's not really many people around.
Would it be advantageous to maybe check out the well? I mean, it's a bit of a long shot, but might be worth a look.
I can cover that, and Drax sort of just looks at his familiar, and it hops up and takes flight and flies down the well a little bit.
It's just a normal well from what you can see. Water at the bottom, a rope and bucket to the side to collect water from it. Nothing stands out about the well, other than it's where they get their drinking water and their bathing water.
I am.
Nothing outstanding here. Just an average well, unfortunately.
Again, this might be me speaking out loud, but I find it strange that a child would be here by themselves. Is that just myself, or am I just thinking too much into this?
She was going to the shops, right?
True, but even so, with the children going missing, you would think that the parents would be less inclined to send them out by themselves.
Are you suggesting the parents are in on this? Or just negligent?
I'm saying maybe a subtle form of charm or persuasion to convince the parents to let the children be by themselves.
I was thinking something slightly different, in that why would a child be out by themselves if you know that there are issues around here? Why would you let your child just wander around the streets on their own?
That's exactly what they just said.
I was just about to say that's exactly what we just said.
Sorry.
The idea of the charm, though, there might be something in that. That's how you would perhaps take someone without them making a lot of noise. You convince them that I'm your best friend. Come with me, won't you?
I mean, for a child, surely you don't even need a charm spell to do that. Bag of sweets will do it.
Or you present the danger, you save the child from the danger, and then they feel safer in your presence.
The powerful creature, wizard, whatever, saves a helpless child for some thugs with knives, maybe?
Yeah, I look back over at the alleyway and see if that might fit as the storyline that's happened here.
Make a straight up intelligence check. It doesn't seem like that's what's happened here. There's 4 sets of adult prints and 1 set of child's, and that doesn't change from here into the alley. There's no additional set of footprints. Obviously, there's one less set of footprints and drag marks going out of the alley, but there's nothing that screams 4 men chasing a child and then someone coming to save that child.
Did I know I suggested this earlier, and I'm sorry to beat a dead horse, but did anybody ask around? Did you ask the parent about maybe the woman with the blue tattoos? I mean, we know that she's some sort of sorcerer or adept at the arcane, and she's already been a suspect in these kidnaps.
No, I didn't mention her, sorry.
It's okay. We've got a lot on our mind. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it to me that kind of lines up with each other, right? I mean, they're kind of the first two leads that we've had that have kind of crossed paths like this.
Remind me, all the children that have disappeared, were they at some point connected to this well?
As far as we know, they are all from this general area, and they've all been sent to do errands. I'm not sure if the well has been a crossing point for them, or is this just a common area?
I wonder because if the well is the main source of water for everyone, whether that's how they that's how they get their target, so that's how they manipulate them, not necessarily by using some charm or enchantment magic, but rather something in the water.
I'll be willing to.
Oh, I think Sam just died.
Better.
Better.
I would volunteer as tribute to drink that water.
I'll throw the bucket in and start pulling the bucket up for some water.
Okay, you pull up a bucket of water from the well. And is Nico drinking from the well?
Yep. Just not even flinch. Just pick it up and drink.
It's just water. Fairly nice water, actually. Actually nicer than the water you drank in the inn last night.
It's just water. Nothing more. I think the well is I think it's just a central location. I think you're always going to come back to the well because everybody's going to cross here. Everyone's going to have ties to the well because they're always going to pass it.
I'm at a loss. The only other thing I could maybe think about is if we were to maybe lay in wait, set a trap, so the hunters become the hunted.
I would recommend that would be a terrible idea. They seem to put a lot of planning into making sure children are alone, and I would not want to risk another child being kidnapped.
Have we noticed through all the hustle and bustle if the kids are of one particular ethnic group or race type or any distinguishing features that they all seem to share?
Nope.
No.
As far as you're aware, they're all different ages, different sexes, different races. Nothing other than obviously random chance of like 2 humans being taken. There's nothing, no pattern there. Although Make me an intelligence check.
No.
No, there's no pattern.
Then I guess we wait until this evening when we can find, when we get information from that resource.
Kind of frustrating. Like, well, I can't seem to draw any for the conclusions. So at the moment, actually, we just have to press on somehow. Just looking around and see if anyone has any bright ideas.
No, not me.
I feel it's a waste to burn daylight. Is there anything else we could be doing in the area? It seems strange to stand around doing nothing.
I'm going to look at Cyrus. Treasure hunt.
Just reasonable goes. That could help. At the very least, it will give us a greater grasp for the local area. And if we happen to find something, we find it. And I'll pull my little notebook out and show the rough sketch from the what I seen on the Shady Bunches map. Some sort of bracers apparently that are worth quite a lot of money. They were looking for it, and well, as vague as these directions are, we're already in the slums. They mention them vaguely here. Perhaps as we happen to be looking for these in tandem, we might discover another clue that might help with the children, just by chance.
As you say, it'll give us a grasp of local area, if nothing else.
I'm quite reluctant, but you do have a good point. Like before, lead on.
Any
Yeah,
particular
that.
mark you want to go to first?
Give me a second, I'll pull the map back up. Right side one.
Cool. Let me also pull the map back up. And work out which mark is for which area. Sorry. Okay. So this one leads you to a sort of a wooded area. Just had it. I lost my page. I'm super sorry. Yeah, so a sort of wooded area behind some sort of not very well kept farmland. Looks like it hasn't been worked in a while, this area. But standing in the woodland area is this gentleman. If I can pull him up. Yeah. And he sees you coming, and he gets very defensive. Not suspicious defensive, so it's not like he's been doing anything wrong, but he's defensive as in protecting what he stood in front of.
What is he stood in front of?
Make me a perception check. So he is stood in front of a plant. A very aggressive looking plant. Russell will recognise it, in fact, as the plant that's called Devil's Maw.
Oh, I know that one.
Is this the one we were looking for?
Yep.
Indeed it is, but I think we best have a word with the gentleman first. He looks awfully worried about it for some reason.
You you look like you're the best one to speak to this guy.
I will walk up. Hello?
He gives you a sort of weird look, and in very, broken common, goes, "Hello, what are you doing?"
We're having a look around the woods for some things. I noticed you've got that plant there. Was that Devil's Maw?
He gives you a very surprised look, as if he's surprised anyone else would know what the hell it was. Goes, "Yes, how do you know?"
I'm gonna say I know a bit about plants, but I'm gonna say it in Druidic first, and then Common.
He responds to you in Druidic and goes, "Nice to meet someone else of the forest."
Are you cultivating it?
Protecting it. It is people that use its magical properties don't always realise that they don't need to kill the whole plant to get what they need.
I met with an alchemist in town. I can't quite remember his name. Uh, he was a nice bloke. He was looking to get hold of some of it. I think he was wanting it for a variety of potions. I don't think he actually knows about that.
No. As I said, many people that use its magical properties don't realise you only need small parts of it rather than the whole plant. I have been protecting this one, it's very rare. There was another one up at Free Orcs Pass, but it was found and destroyed. This is the only one left in the area. I'm trying to bring it to seed so I can get more.
I'm much the same opinion. What's our role would I have to know? Does this plant seed commonly, or is it one of those it produces one seed a year sort of situation?
Make me a nature check. So you know it would seed fairly regularly, so it produces probably about 2 to 3 seeds a month. However, if the seeds are not properly cared for, the devil's maw, as aggressive as it looks in its younger stages, doesn't survive very well.
Perhaps if we tended them, I can help you tend them a bit, and if you would allow me to take one of the seeds, I could start a small patch with this guy and teach him the correct way to harvest it, and then we could have him, when they seed, if he's got a small patch going, he could return the excess seeds to yourself and help spread the plant once more.
I would like the idea, apart from him not knowing where this place is, because if his plants die or don't survive, he will come here for this one, and I would rather him not steal the only one in the area, or harm the only one in the area.
Perhaps we could have them leave them somewhere. Leave a sign for you that there's some there that need tending. That way he wouldn't know. As far as he thinks, I'm going up to the one which didn't survive, sadly, to see if I can get seeds from it. He doesn't know about this place.
That would sound okay to me. There is a tree in... They're building an inn around it now. The inn is called the Shady Spigot after the tree that it is built near. There is a little hole near the very bottom that's not very noticeable. If he could leave the seeds in there... I pass by there occasionally. I go in and tend the tree. They know me. I can check every now and again if there are seeds there.
That would be beneficial to all, I'd say, because it allows this patch to grow undisturbed and gives him the reagents that he needs, so long as I give him the proper lessons and help him tend the patch for a bit. You might be able to offer your services yourself as well. I mean, he'd be more than happy to have a hand. I just think he doesn't really know much about the plant.
That may be a good idea. For now, I'd like to keep my knowledge of the plant secret in case he decides to follow me to this one. Once he's got a patch of his own, I'll certainly make myself aware, known to him. I know he uses some other magical plants in his potions. I can potentially help provide him with them if he provides me space in his area to grow these rare plants.
Sounds like a good trade.
All of this is in Druidic, by the way.
Where are my manners? My name's Russell.
Elmer Barrymore. And he'll sort of faintly bow his head to you.
I will mimic and say, well, if it's okay with you, do you know of any dangers in this wood? Just my companions are not as forest wise as I am, or you and I are.
No, there is nothing dangerous in this area. It's not even really a wood, to be fair. It's just a small patch of trees still growing.
Well, if it would be all right, I could send them ahead to do what they're going to do. They just want to have a look around. They think there might be something in here that interests them. I didn't catch all the details. If you are okay with me sending them ahead, I can perhaps stay back with you and we can work at getting these plants growing a bit.
That sounds okay to me. I will let you know that it's unlikely they will find anything other than plants or trees in this patch of area. It's only been me for for a very long time.
One thing, you mind if I pass that on to them? I'd hate for them to go wandering, tripping up the roots just for the sake of nothing. So I'm just going to inform that of them, okay?
Yeah. Good. If they could not come too close to this area, that would be fantastic.
So I will turn round and relay that this is Elmer Barrymore. Sorry. This plan is a little bit dangerous. Don't come too close. There's been no one in this area recently. It's been him for quite a while. So if it, depending on how long ago was this item? I mean, is this an ancient thing you're looking for? Is this a modern thing? Because he has no clue.
Sort of look at Silas. He pointed us in this direction.
Seems lost in a bit of train of thought.
Russell, could you ask if Elmer knows if anything may be secreted here? Any lost items or treasures?
Certainly. I will translate.
He will respond with, "It's unlikely. I would have found it if it was. I tend this little patch of Greenland quite thoroughly. There's a couple of other rare plants that are hidden away in here."
Other than some natural treasures, it's unlikely. This guy seems pretty thorough in his knowledge of the area, and I would be doubtful that he would miss something.
Well, assuming that their intent of, okay, I'm not letting you take this plant because it's very special, blah 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 blah. Cyrus will eventually come to the conclusion of, well, you might want to pass on the message that there were at least three shady types with a map, which is why we ended up here. They won't be as forthcoming and as likely to be understanding if they come here looking for what they're looking for. If they haven't found it already, they might come here, turn your little patch of earth here into an excavation site, and probably kill the plant in progress. So consider that a little information freebie in exchange for possibly
I
going
will
more with commercial suggestion than just a partial agreement.
I'll pass that along word for word, really emphasizing there's danger there for your plants. Maybe take some precautions as well.
As well, maybe we're going, okay, we won't take the plant, but compromise. These types don't seem like a type to be compromising. They're admittedly, from my short observation, simpletons.
Elmer will go to you. His words sound like a threat, but I don't believe he is threatening my plants. It's odd how these less naturistic people word things. It's fine. I am used to protecting from outside people. Lots of people try and enter every now and again. You obviously know our tongue, so you're aware of the type of thing we can tap into. I have ways and means of protecting my plants from, as he words it, simpletons.
I'm most glad to hear that. If I can ever be of assistance, you can send a bird. I'm sure you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean, and as a thanks for your help today, I will let you know that I'm not the only one of our kind around not just this little town, but the general area. If you ever encounter someone like me or yourself, mention to them that you know a member of the Stags, and there'll be a lot more forthcoming to you.
That is most wonderful to know, and I thank you for your advice.
And he'll go back to tending his little moor. Are you staying with him to help, or are you going with the rest?
I would turn to you guys and say, how about we meet at that well round about. I mean, what time are we meeting up to go for this other thing?
We have
I
been told to meet around nightfall.
did I only partially heard what she was saying. Did she mention a time or did she just say nightfall?
She said that it would need to be after dark, so I agreed to meet just after nightfall.
Fair enough. Are you going to stay here, Russell, and then join us later on near the well?
I think that'd be a good idea. It means I can help tend the plant and maybe get some seeds for our alchemist friend.
Are you okay to be on your own?
This guy is like me. He's no threat.
The threat wasn't from him per se.
I can't think of anything else. I mean, the plant not gonna. Well, it could bite me, but to be fair, it'll probably. I don't think it will when it realizes I'm trying to do it a favor.
I guess we could go explore some of the other areas and before meeting up in the well when it's nightfall. But I don't know, speak for everyone else.
I mean, I don't mind staying behind as kind of guard in case those the shady looking guys we saw this morning come snooping around for some treasure. You know, I don't mind staying as a kind of bodyguard. I've had a little experience with nature and the wild and stuff with being a wood elf. I I mean I could just kind of stand around and just keep guard in case they come snooping around. If you wanted that, if not, then I'll carry on with you guys.
Oh, it's no trouble to me either way. I just thought you guys would have business elsewhere, and I don't want to slow you down. And as Lavinia said, you don't want to burn daylight.
There are two more sites to explore. Russell, do you believe that yourself and Elmer will be able to at least avoid detection if needs be?
I'm certainly capable of making myself unseen. and he's of similar tact to me. I mean, we both have nature's call, so we can hide ourselves very effectively in woodland.
I fear any more people left behind would just be drawing attention rather than helping to dissuade it. So I think the rest of us should stick together.
That sounds fair.
Agreed.
So may we see the map so we can look at the second location?
Cool, I'll show the map. I've circled the one we've already been to. And suggest probably the more western location, which on the map's probably the one pointing down the way.
Onwards we go then.
See you at nightfall. Be safe.
You too. Be safe. As we're walking, could I step back a little and see if I can get Nico's attention?
Mm-hmm.
Once I kind of get his attention, which I'm just out of earshot as everyone else, I'll kind of ask him, but like, so you say you're a wood elf? Whereabouts are you from?
You wouldn't know. It's it's lesser known. But yeah, kind of grew up in the forest and stuff.
I do grow up in the forest, so perhaps I would know, unless it's not from this material plane, and from another plane of existence, like the Feywild.
No, I've always lived here. Lived here for a long time. Are you from the Feywild? Is that what you?
No, I'm not. But my family have strong ties to the Feywild, so I have some knowledge of the Feywild.
That's actually quite good to know. Do you know how to get there?
Um, to be honest with you, I am looking for an answer for that myself. Um, Part of my exploration of the world means I need to enter the Feywild to explore that as well. I know there are portals spread across the world, but I do not know where to even begin looking, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm glad our paths have crossed because it seems our goals are aligned.
Interesting. I don't think I ever formally introduced myself to you. My name is Ishida Yuichi. I come from the forest around Gaelitzi. Seems if our paths are intertwined, then perhaps we'll be useful to each other.
It's nice to meet you formally, I'm Nico. Kind of, he put out his hand to shake it, but you will notice that his hand is disgustingly filthy and blackened. His nails are kind of overly long and covered in filth.
I'll reach out and shake it. Man of the forest, I understand. And your friend, I never actually got his name, but you two seem fairly close to each other.
Yeah, I'll kind of look ahead at him walking and say, yeah, he's the strong, silent type, I guess. I guess we both are, but he's Draxus. I'm sure you'll get to know him.
He's an interesting character. Seems he works very much for money.
Very much so.
Seems like an interesting blend. You, a man of the forest, and him, a hired hand. Would that be a correct uh, analysis or correct way of calling him?
No, but let's just stick to a complex individual.
Okay. And then I'll scuttle forward closer to Lavinda.
Cool. Anyone else doing a thing as you walk to the next area?
I'm still keeping an eye out for the devil.
Make me a perception check.
Check for devil.
You do not spot the devil. You do not spot any hints of the devil, any signs of the devil.
Didn't think so, but I'd just like to keep the mind open.
Yeah, absolutely. So you follow the map to this area, and it's an old stables, and the cross on the map leads you behind the old stables to a very old, crumbling, disused, funnily enough, well. As you sort of walk, anyone that walks to within sort of 30 feet of the well, the temperature around the well sharply drops, and it's really, really cold, and you can see your breath hanging in the air. But when you step out of that 30 feet radius, it goes back to normal temperature. You do also notice at the base of the well, before you get too close, are the bodies of the shady folk that were in the bar this morning, looking fairly severely burnt.
Well, I guess Russell's safe.
Dead and burned, or just burnt?
Dead and burnt, from what you can tell this far away.
I have resistance to cold, so can I approach you well a bit closer than everyone else?
It doesn't get to the point where there's any damage going to be done. It's just cold, unusually cold.
Okay, can I examine the burned bodies to see if it is a natural flame?
Make me a medicine check. You can't quite tell. They just look really badly burnt, which is odd for the temperature of the area they're in.
Yeah, I pass this on. It's just they're badly burned, but seems very strange given the sharp drop in temperature.
Hmm. Magic is interesting. Can I notice if there's anything else around that seems suspicious?
Make me a perception check.
Come on, big money. Big money.
So from your angle, there's nothing around you that's out of place, but you can just see a faint green glow coming from the bottom of the well, from the old disused well.
I'll look at Nico once again. There seems to be something at the bottom of the well. Um, are you able to see far down?
Can I see it?
Are you going over to the well and looking down?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your dark vision?
60 feet.
Yeah, you can. So this well has sort of crumbled in. It doesn't go that far down. It's about 10 feet down. In fact, it's not very far at all. But there is a green glowing skull that's floating above a small iron chest, and it looks up at you and it spots you. And if everyone could, that is currently on the map, I've removed Russell and we're using this map because I didn't make a second one like an idiot. If everyone on the map could roll initiative for me, please. I love this turn order tracker. Okie dokie. Is that everyone? Oh, no, we're missing someone. Who are we missing?
Russell, he's not here.
No.
Silas.
Cyrus.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I will roll for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't get high because I don't want to have to control him. That's fine. Okay. So, Ishida, what are you going to do? This thing has just popped up off the top of out of the top of the well.
This is so weird. Can I try to kind of punch it with my knuckle duster?
You can certainly try.
Actually, you know what? Sorry. I'm gonna use one of my key points to do Step of the Wind, and I think with Step of the Wind I can use the disengage action as a bonus action. So I'm gonna use disengage, move back like 15 feet away because I don't know what the hell this is. Take on my short bow and just take a shot at it.
Okay.
9.
It doesn't hit.
That's my turn.
Okay. Scott the first, are you back yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's your turn. So basically, I don't know when you went AFK. Nico looked over the edge of the well. There was this green floating skull over the top of an iron chest that's just popped up and started attacking you. Well, it's not attacked anyone yet, but it's going to attack you. The party, not you specifically.
Cool. Well, taking stock of it, hoping with the party around, possibly sneak attack. If not, just a regular short bow attack.
There is no one currently within 5 feet of it, so no sneak attack, I'm afraid.
Okay, I wasn't sure if like parties are only looking down through the thing, but okay, right. Through the bow, 12.
Just misses.
Right. Step back from the well and probably hide below it.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
14. And that's my turn.
Okay. Ladinia, your turn.
So is this just a glowing green floating skull?
Yep, that's popped out of the well and is looking aggressively at you all.
Okay. I am going to go for Sacred Flame.
Okay. It needs to make a save, right?
Just checking now.
Dex save for Sacred Flame?
Deck.
Yeah, that's right, Dex save.
It got a 14. So it saves.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I'm just going to say where I am.
Draxus, your turn.
Draxus will move back a bit and use action to quickly scroll into the air, sip runic symbols, and cast Mage Armor on himself.
Okay,
And that's his turn.
cool. Nico, your turn.
Is it floating? If I kind of go to the other side of it, am I gonna be able to get within 5 feet of it?
If you were to go here, you'd be within 5 feet of it.
Yeah, then I'll do that.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna rage, and I'm gonna reckless attack with the great.
Okay.
+21.
21 hits, roll me damage.
That's +2 because I'm raging, so 9, and I also get divine because I can do that now. So I'll roll that. So 17 points of damage.
Cool.
I'm gonna stay put. That's my turn.
Okay. Was it radiant or necrotic damage you were using?
Necrotic.
Okie dokie, so that would be 11 points of damage then. You notice it doesn't quite take as much damage as you would expect from your Divine Fury.
I figured as such.
Sorry, 13 points of damage. Did I do that right? Did I say 13? I'm losing my mind. Okie pokey.
You said 11, if I remember.
Yeah, oh well, it was 13. I miscalculated. Forgot to add the 2 for the rage.
Yeah. It should be 13. Yeah, half in the divine fury.
Yep, halving the Divine Fury.
Yeah, 13.
So, this dude is going to risk an attack of opportunity because it wants to get away from you and move. 10, 15, 20, 25.
Yeah, I'ma get him.
Rolled it.
Do I still get advantage from my reckless?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
22 hits.
22. 8 points.
Okay. Cool beans. So, considering you are the one that has so far done the most damage to it, it thinks you are its target for the moment, and it is going to cast Flaming Sphere at you. So can you make me a Dex saving throw, please, Nico?
I'm pretty sure I get advantage on that with Danger Sense. Advantage on
Yes.
dexterity saving throws against efficacy.
Yep, you can see it coming. You fail, so you take 10 fire damage as this orb of fire just appears on top of you and sort of engulfs you. And that is its turn, so we are back to Ishida.
I'm gonna move up a little bit to like over there, and again I'm gonna just take a shot at it.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Yep, that hits.
So that'll be 12 points of damage.
No, we're doubling the dice, so it'd be
Oh, sorry.
6 plus 4 would be 10 points of damage.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
And that's my turn.
Cyrus, your turn.
Okay. Taking a pot shot with a short bow.
Okay, roll to hit. Yeah, 24 hits. 21 hits, sorry.
Only 6 points, I think.
Okay, yeah. Only 6 because there's. It did see you. It rolled a perception check and got the same as your stealth check, so it saw you when you were hiding. So yes, just the 6. So
Cool. Gonna move to the other side of the well. Yeah, that's fine. And then bonus action hide.
okay, roll me stealth.
11. Not compared to last week. This is pitiful. That's the end of my turn.
That's fine. Lavinia, your turn.
Is this looking at all damaged, or is it still looking pretty, solid?
It's looking fairly damaged. It's definitely looking like it's potentially gonna. It's in fight or flight mode right now.
I'm gonna try Sacred Flame again.
Okay. It rolled a 17, so it'll save.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be my turn. I'm not doing anything else.
Cool. Draxus, your turn.
How's it looking? Is it like pretty beaten up, or?
Yeah, as I said to Virginia just now, it's looking fairly damaged. It's definitely hit fight or flight mode right now. It's ever so slightly panicking.
Yeah, cool. Draxus will see that it can cast magic and such. Will just wave his hand in the air, create 3 large purple light crystals, and cast magic missile at it.
Okay. So it will see you casting magic missile, and it will use its reaction to shield. And I've just realised I linked that to myself rather than the group. Because apparently I need to know what shield does, but no one else does.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Yeah, it just completely nullifies magic missile. And unfortunately, that's my turn.
Cool beans. Nico, your turn.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Bloop. Reckless, obviously.
Okay.
19.
Just hits.
+12. So what, 2, 12, 14.
Exactly what you needed. How would you like to do this?
Yeah. I just want to just over the head and just down, just get the greatsword really embedded in that skull. And then just keep cracking the skull on the ground with it kind of stuck to the greatsword till it just smashes into a million pieces.
So yeah, you literally take this glowing green skull and it shatters after about the 4th or 5th hit onto the floor. Bits of the skull go everywhere, and you just watch the light sort of fade out of its eyes and the green glow go away, and the temperature around the well begins to rise again, and it's less cold now.
Nico's gonna kind of breathing quite heavily after raging. Just start slowing his breathing down to control himself again. We turn around and say, "Who's going in to get that chest?"
I could go in as long as you can hold the rope.
I can hold the rope. We can all hold the rope.
Then I can go in. Assuming one of them hold the ropes, I'm gonna gently start lowering myself into the well.
I will say it was only 10 feet down.
I'll jump in then.
So you jump in. The chest's not that heavy, it's fairly small. Bring it up.
Yep.
Are you opening said chest?
Yeah, I wouldn't know Cyrus to kind of be able to lock pick and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll open it.
Okay. So the chest is not locked, and luckily for you, the chest is not trapped. Inside the box is a pair of golden decorated braces that, from first glance, you'd estimate would be about 250 gold worth of bracer. And that's pretty much what's in the box there. Actually, no, that's a lie. Sitting underneath the braces is a small book, small old book.
Can I look at Drax and say, are you able to tell if these are magical by any means?
I could, but there's an item I need to collect before I can do such.
Do braces count as armor?
No.
So I could wear these.
Yes, technically. Bases of defense, for example, barbarians can wear.
If anyone wouldn't be opposed to me trying these on, I'd quite like to try it.
We don't know what they are, but I guess.
I think maybe we should check them out. Being protected by a glowing green skull doesn't exactly give me the best feelings here.
You know what? That's probably right.
If you wouldn't mind, I may be able to try something myself.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, I wish to ritual cast augury.
Link it to me. I can't remember what it does. You would think I would know that being a cleric myself, but I can't remember. Okay. And what are you specifically? Are you asking a specific thing, or what's the plan that you want your augury to basically tell you if it's good, bad, or?
I wish to know if putting on these vases will cause more harm than good. Basically, if it will cause more harm, it would be weal. No, but would be woe. If it would cause more
Yeah.
good, it would be.
Yeah. So you get the feeling of woe.
I would hold off. I have consulted with the goddess Myrrh, and this is not a good idea.
I reluctantly trust what your goddess has to say. I'll leave the braces for now.
Do you get the same sense from the book as well, Lavinda?
I
Ladinia.
only inquired about the vases, sorry. We could have a look at the book.
If possible. And if Ladinia is going to have another look at the book, could I just do like a generic investigation check to see if there's any other like source of magic that's similar to this skull? It just seems really weird for this skull to just randomly appear here.
Make me a Arcana check.
Come on, big money.
And Ladinia, if you're looking at the book, make me an investigation check. There's nothing else particularly magical around here that you can feel in the general vicinity. Seems like this skull chose this well to be its home. It's kind of out of the way. You.
I am rolling terribly.
It's a really old book. It's got some strange drawings in it. Other than that, not a lot.
Is there any kind of language in it, or is it just mostly pictures?
It's not pictures. It's shapes, but you can't tell what they are.
Roughly what time of the day is it?
So sort of early to mid-afternoon last time you were at the well. Probably getting towards early evening time now.
Okay. I'll look at everyone and say, I think perhaps we should start heading back. heading to the other well, unless we want to explore the last location on the map.
I believe this would have been the treasure they were seeking, so the third location does seem rather defunct.
Perhaps, but there's a reason they were looking for that location as well, surely.
I mean, the first one didn't have treasure, but it did. We did find something useful there. Maybe not right away, but something to look at for another.
Exactly.
I should just recheck it just in case.
Would we have time to check out the third location before sunset?
Mm. You would be able to get there before sunset, but if there's any problems or anything else other than just checking it out and leaving, you'd miss your deadline of being back at her house for sunset.
While Ladinia was doing her ritual, Draxus would have been having a look at the skull, just seeing if there was anything interesting, or even though it's like shattered into pieces.
Make me a Arcana check. Apparently, I'm all about the Arcana checks right now. Yeah, so this is a flame skull. They tend to find shiny things that they like and dark holes to hide in, and that sort of seems to be them. They're not very common. They pop up randomly in weird places. No one quite knows where they come from or why.
Drax would probably just sit there sketching in his booking again, while everybody's having this little conversation.
Once we have this discussion, I walk over to Baxter and offer him the book.
And I realised I gave Russell my little sketchbook, so I won't do that, and I will accept the book from Ladinia and have a little look at it.
Okay, make me a investigation check. Okay, you get very excited about this. This is a spell book. You can tell, and it has, from what you can tell, at least 3 usable spells in it. You don't know what they are, and you have a feeling you'd need to get your item that you're looking for before you'd know what they were. But there's definitely at least 3 spells in this book.
Yes, so the book's sort of like beaten up a bit, but
Yep.
Drax sort of like completely goes blank to the rest of the world for a few moments and just starts gently looking through and just carefully taking care of the book.
So this will be of use to you, right?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah.
You see, sometimes a non-monetary reward upfront can lead to benefits long term.
Of course, yes. No, you said something about leaving. We getting off, or are we heading back, or moving on to the last location?
I
I
think
feel the genuine appointment we have is better than the general idea of the third. After all, if we stand up the starlings, we may not get another chance to get to their.
I agree.
The third
As much as
location will.
the third location would be nice, it would be probably easy to check it tomorrow.
Yeah, the third location will always be there, but this would probably be the only chance we get to get close to the star.
Then let us return to the well in the slums.
Plus, Russell, we don't want to stand Russell up.
Okay. So are you going back to the well?
I lead the way.
Okay. Russell, while they have been doing what they have been doing, Elmer has been. Obviously, you've been helping with the plant, and Elmer's been chatting to you. You've managed to get. He's gifted you 2 seeds to take with you back to Mr. Potts, and he's told you a bit about himself. He's what he's calling a briarling. So basically, he used to be a tree, and something happened that made him alive and sentient and able to talk and cast magic, and he's not quite sure what, and he's not quite sure where he came from. He's met a couple of others like him, but not many more. And he sort of chose this area to be his home because he found the rare plants and he felt this was his calling.
It's always nice when you find what you're meant to be, I'd say.
It is. How about you? Have you found where you're meant to be yet?
I'm not sure, but I'll know it when I find it.
Well, I hope you do find it. And he'll give you a bit of a knowing look, and he'll go, although it's always best to know where you came from before you know where you're going.
True. But sometimes the past has a way of coming back around, so it'll make for an interesting journey at least.
Indeed, and he will, before you go, he will reach up into his hair, his leaf-filled hair, and he will pick out and gift you 10 good berries from his hair. He goes, I pick these every day and still they grow back. Every day. I have so many, I don't know what to do with them. Maybe you will find them useful. And he hands you them.
I thank you very much. Oh, you have an interest in magical plants.
I have an interest in all
Perhaps-
plants. Sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
Perhaps this little friend could find a home in your woods. And I will take a small cutting from the temple
Mm-hmm.
and I will offer it to him.
And he'll gladly take it from you and he'll go, oh, I have not seen one of these in so very long. They only grow in sacred and holy places. Where on earth did you find one?
There was a shrine lost in the woods. We had to go inside and examine the place, and I figured it would give them a chance to spread out a bit. They looked a little cramped.
It's always nice to give them their own space. I have a little area in the back that is dedicated to the Wild Mother, so he will grow there, and I think he will like it. Thank you.
Nature's blessings upon you. I best get going. There are many things that we can have wait for us, but unfortunately, time ain't one of them.
True, true. Well, good travels and stay safe, my friend. And remember, if you ever seen any more like ourselves, the stag.
I will bow graciously and then head off to meet with my friends.
You leave him and he wanders over. You watch him sort of wander over to a corner and start planting the little seedling you've given him. And it's just this little patch of light in this little dark wooden forest. What am I talking about? Dark forest. There's a little patch of light where he plants this little sapling. And you return and you meet up at the well with the rest of your companions.
He has a remarkably chipper look on his face.
You notice Nico, I think, is about the only one that took a hit in that fight. Nico is looking a little bit battered and bruised and slightly burnt. But they are all there and in one piece.
Oh my goodness, what happened to you?
Nico just shrugs his shoulders and just says, it happens. Flaming skulls, you know.
I'm sure that was a bard I saw once. Or was it?
How's the gardening?
Anyway, shall we get going? Oh, Nico, here. And I'll toss him a berry. Very good for you.
Oh, uh, I'm fine actually. I'll hold on to this, thanks.
Can come in handy in an emergency.
I'm sure it does. Thank you.
When Nico said these things happen, Lavinia leaned over to Achiever and said, "Are those burning skulls that common up here?"
So could you repeat that just the last bit just once again? I didn't catch that properly.
Are those flaming skulls so common up here?
I am no more informed about it than you are, to be honest. Perhaps our dragonborn friend here can help us with that, seeing as how he's the more magically gifted.
Jax is still just like gently looking through the book, constantly going over a few pages that are still well off.
He seems rather engrossed in his studies at the moment. I'll ask later.
But to answer your question, this is the first time I've seen one myself. Yeah.
I've seen some strange things, but skulls made of fire where I'm from, they wouldn't last.
The world is quite mysterious. That's what my family's always told me.
So I shall see if our appointment is due. If you want to wait here for a moment, I just need to confirm how many of us will be able to go along. Okay?
Of course.
Miss Lavinia,
Yes, Russell dear?
my thinking, this is these people are dangerous, right?
They are thieves. I'm not sure if that means dangerous or if that just means they're looking for a payday.
If we're going into their area, I'm wondering if I should hide.
I have made them aware there were 6 of us, but I can suppose say that we have left off certain members. Does anybody else wish to take a more stealthy approach?
Perhaps I could come with you. She has seen me with you, so I'm sure she'll be okay if I were to come with you, and then the others could potentially hide.
We shall see what she says about the group size first. So I head back over to the brightly painted door and knock on it again.
Before you even get a chance to knock, she's opened it and she stood there, wearing dark clothing and sort of hood up. And she walks out of the door and closes it behind you. And goes, sorry, I saw you coming and I did not want the person left looking after my baby to notice a group of people at my door. Rumours spread quickly. I have spoken with Jane and she is fine with all of you coming. She has no problem, as I'm vouching for you. She thinks if you're helping to find my child, she'll welcome you.
So the group may be slightly diminished. We had a couple of encounters today, which may have caused one of us to part company for a little while. There may not be as many. Shall I gather them for you?
That is fine. Lead me to them. Any number is fine. I will explain when we get there to Jane. And she follows you to the rest of the group, I assume?
I'm going to walk to Drax and say, mind if I hitch a ride?
No, pardon? What? What's going on?
And I will put my hand on his shoulder and shrink down into my familiar blue tarantula form.
That's pretty cool. Oh, we're getting on. Of course. He sort of picks you up, goes to put you on his shoulder, and then realizes his familiar's there, and then sort of puts you on the back of his familiar, closes the book up, and gently puts it in his bag with the rest of his stuff. And just sort of looks at this pseudo dragon on his shoulder with a little tarantula on its back. Then shrugs and goes join the others.
So yeah, I am taking a very slow, very deliberate pace to give people time to hide if they want to, or make any kind of plans.
I am at Ladinia's shoulder, almost like touch tight with her.
Cool. What are Nico and Cyrus doing right now? Just waiting?
Yeah, Nico will kind of just be leant against the wall, cross arms, just doing the whole silent broody routine.
He's doing bad cop. I'm doing not as good cop.
Okay.
Shitty cop, shitty cop.
Cool.
So I assume we've actually reached Blue Well by now, and it's kind of like So these are my compatriots. Please lead us.
She'll turn to you all and go, good evening. I will let you know you need to stick close to me. We will be taking a roundabout route to get there to make sure we are not followed. Please stay as close as you can. And when we get there, please do not threaten. She's trying to help. So please. And she will turn around and go, follow me. And she will.
I glare meaningfully at Nico before following.
So she will lead you sort of through some streets and some alleys, and she'll lead you into a building, and she'll go through a few doors and out the back of the building, and lead you around and about, and in the end you end up in another building where she leads you in. You go down into the basement and into a cave system. You follow the cave system. You have a feeling if you'd walked in here by yourself, you'd have got completely lost. There's sideways and roundabouts, and you feel like you're going back on yourself when you're not. But she leads you through it, and you end up outside of the city, or the town, sorry, in a little area. And there's a statue. So a worker statue, so just a statue of some people milling the sort of working the land. And she'll go, could you do me all a favour and just look away while I do this, please? And she'll wait for you all to turn around.
Yeah, I turn around quite happily.
Yeah, I'll turn around.
Yeah, I'll turn around.
I'll turn around, but just have my sort of like pseudo dragon sort of poke his head out and allow Russell to see.
I'll turn, but I'll have a dagger unsheathed and just be like tilting it as if I'm inspecting it, but trying to get the reflection to look behind me.
Okay, is Russell the spider keeping an eye on her, or is he turned around as well?
Oh, he's keeping an eye.
Okay,
These are sneaky people he no trust.
Okay, so Pseudo Dragon and Russell, make me a perception check. Cyrus, because you're trying to get the right angle on your dagger that's sort of just coming out of a sheath, and you're trying to get the right angle, I'll say make me a perception check at disadvantage. Cool.
9.
That's fine. So the pseudo dragon is the only one that picks it up, but she presses a certain pattern into loose stones in the back of the statue, and then sort of pulls on one of the tools, and the statue starts sort of moving forwards, revealing a secret path downwards. And once it's moved completely out of the way, she'll go, you can all turn around now, and if you would like to walk down the stairs and stop at the bottom, just so I can come behind and close the way. And she'll wait for you all to walk in.
Is Lavinia carrying the banner around?
At the moment, it would probably be attached to her back.
I'll go to her and say, perhaps, given we don't know what we're getting into, maybe if we were to have a bit of extra protection and you lead from the front, perhaps. I'm going to be right next to you, but...
Noted, yes. Yeah, I take the banner in both hands.
Okay.
And then, as suggested, just walk down the stairs slowly.
And I'll
When you-
follow behind him. Oh, her, sorry.
When the banner out, Nico will say, are you sure that's, it's quite a statement to be walking in behind a big banner into a thieves guild, isn't it?
Attached to my back, it's slightly unwieldy. I might end up colliding with something. At least this way I can see where it's going.
Yeah, I get that. And if you want the banner out, that's fine. Just saying you're gonna attract a fair bit of attention. Just just for
I tend to attract attention anyway. Pythons aren't especially well seen around here.
That's true. Like I say, it's fine.
So you all step down the stairs.
Yep.
Okay. So she will. Sorry, someone was going to say something? Or not? Okay, so she will come down the stairs part the way behind you, and she'll turn around and she'll press a couple of buttons on the wall, and the statue will start moving back overhead. And then she will sort of lightly tap 3 times on the wall, and there will be lights that flicker on all the way going on. So it's a long corridor you've entered, and she'll go, "Let me go ahead. I'll just squeeze around you," and she'll work her way round, and she'll lead you down this very straight hallway till she gets to a door, and she'll knock on the door, and she'll just go, "Jane, it's Terra. I've brought the people that were going to come and have a chat with you. Are we okay to come in?" And you'll hear a very sort of haughty voice come back. Go, "Of course, darling, come in. I was expecting you. You're not unexpected. I'm not going to stab you when you open the door. Do not worry." And so she'll open the door and let you all in front of her. And once you're all in the room, she'll step in behind you and close the door. So do you all step in without any issues?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So sitting at a desk, it's a very drab, shabby room. Is Jane Eyre. She looks exactly like her posters. She's sitting draped in thin black robes. She's looking over some items that she's sort of recently found. Her long silver blonde hair falls in sort of thick strands down to about halfway down her back. Her eyes are piercing blue, and they look up to you as you walk in. And she'll go, "Good evening. Welcome to... Well, it's not my home. It's where I'm hiding, because I cannot go to where I normally stay. I hear you are trying to help Terra find her young one."
We are hoping to find all the missing children from our village. We thought we had a lead, but alas, this was a red herring.
A red herring given to you by Artin Hammerbeard, I would expect.
Actually, a child was taken, but it was a ploy to raise the profile of the missing children. Not so much a malicious thing, but more an ill-thought plan.
There's a reason those guards are not looking for those children, you know.
Any information that you could provide on the subject would be most helpful.
I would give you all the information I had if it wasn't back in my guild, in my room, where I currently can't go. The reason the children have been disappearing is because Artin and his guards have been taking them and blaming it on us, so he can use that to try and hunt us out and get rid of us. He's gathered most of the information he needs to find my hideout and my guild hideout. In fact, I'm surprised if he isn't there right now. And of course, you won't believe me without evidence. Unfortunately, all of my evidence is in my room, in my hideout. I had to run away quickly as soon as I knew he was coming. And if he finds it before I manage to get back there, well, he'll destroy it, and then my word will be worth nothing.
Can I insight check? See if she's telling the truth.
Maybe an insight check.
Or hiding anything? Let me see.
Would I be able to assist with this at all?
Yeah, I'd say okay.
22.
Cool. As far as you're aware, she's telling the truth. Or the truth as she knows it.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but you are a member of the Thieves Guild. Is this correct?
A thieves guild in the sense of we take from the upper class and we try and even the scales a little bit. That's why Artin and his band of arseholes don't like us, is because he's in the upper class's pocket. So yes, if you want to call us a thieves guild for that, then feel free, I'll take the title.
Forgive me, but then surely he would not need to create an elaborate ruse to need to arrest you.
We are popular with those less fortunate than the elite. If he were to arrest me and my fellow guild members, then there would be an uproar in the lower parts of the city. He'd lose control. So by stealing their children away and blaming it on us, he is giving them a reason to distrust us. And so when the arrest happens and he plants the evidence that the missing children were my fault, my support will dwindle away.
Do you know of any area where he may be keeping these children? For surely for him to rescue the children would of course endear him more to the city than for him to have acted too late and the children to be returned as corpses.
I unfortunately had not managed to get an exact location before I had to leave. There are a number of locations all written in my notes of where the children might be being kept. I had not been able to pin it down to one in particular.
So if we can get hold of this notebook and the rest of your stuff, we can narrow down where they might.
You could not only narrow it down, you could prove that it is not me, it is Artin.
Nico kind of look around at the rest of the group as if to say, like, shall we maybe look at going to, fetch this woman's stuff?
I will gladly give you directions to my hideout. I cannot go if there are guards there and I am found. No telling what will happen, but I will gladly give you directions and tell you how to get to my room.
And what about the hired mages that are kidnapping the children?
I have not hired any mages. Do you think there's mages involved? What?
Can I insight that?
Mm-hmm.
Just how it teetered off the 19. Oh well.
Yeah. As far as you can tell, she's being honest. She has no idea what you're talking about.
Some hired ones or something.
That must be a new development. That has not come up in my research. As far as I'm aware, it was Artin and his missing guards that are keeping the children somewhere.
How far are we from her roughly? Are we like 15, 20 feet away from her? Or are
Yeah.
we fairly close to her?
It's a fairly small room, so you're probably in 2 rows. Those at the front rows are probably about 10 feet, and those behind are probably about 15 feet.
Could I do the thing whereby like you turn around, put your back towards the person, and then you kind of whisper into another person's ear? So I just want to kind of turn around, pull my back towards this woman, and kind of whisper into Ladinia's ear, saying, "How can we trust a thief who admits to being a thief?"
You can do that. She won't. She hasn't caught on. That's what you're doing.
Sorry, give me 2 seconds. Let me just reconnect. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, so I'm gonna whisper into Ladinia that basically.
Yes, I do follow what you mean. At which point, put the banner away, walk right up next to her, take hold of her both her hands, look her straight in the face, and say, "Can you give me your word as a woman of good standing that you have nothing to do with these disappearances and only have the best interests of the lower town?"
I give you my word.
Could I inside check? Could I?
I'm going to inside check that as well.
One of you make it with advantage.
What's your insight?
I have a +3, but no proficiency.
Sorry, I just reconnected. Do you have proficiency in it?
No, just a +3.
I've got a +3 as well. I'll go for it. You roll.
You sure? I've been rolling terribly.
Okay, I'll roll. Fingers crossed. Big money, guys. Big money. 22.
Yep. As far as you're aware, she's telling the truth. She's a little uncomfortable because she's not used to having to give her word. Most people just accept her as it is. But yeah, as far as you can tell, she's telling the truth.
We will go to your guild and we will collect the evidence. However, if you have been misleading us, then know that the wrath of Mera will fall upon you, and she is unforgiving as the deep sea.
I do not know who that is, but I will take your word on it. And I promise you I am not anything to do with children disappearing.
Okay, switches back to a bright smile. So, where is your guild?
So she will give you directions to an old abandoned warehouse on the very, very edge of the city. And she will advise you that if you go into the lower levels of this warehouse, behind a very old, dilapidated painting that isn't quite there anymore, if you were to move that, there would be a small entrance that you could walk down. When you get to the bottom of the stairs, she will advise you that there is a code to type in into the wall, and that will open the door to their hideout. She also warns you that there, as I said, Artin pretty much knows where it is, as far as I'm aware, so you are likely to encounter his guards, and they are likely to be hostile.
I think we should move with haste then and examine the warehouse.
I agree. Shall we?
Before we leave, I pull out my notebook and put it on a table in front of the lady in question. Slide it over to her. Speaking of Artem and his guards and the several pompous assholes that he's evidently getting comfy in the back pocket of, and directed at certain pages, the house layout of the guy whose daughter we returned, the guards office and that I took note of. If you are being above board with us and that this town's protectors are actually no more than thugs themselves, might I suggest a changing of the guard? If your thieves guild are probably more honourable than the actual police force, then why not swap? You could do at least as competent a job, I reckon. If this has all been one elaborate stage show just to get rid of you guys, once this gets out in public and exposed, enough people in the right place could dispose of any problematic elements, and order is quickly restored. And I don't know, I'm not much of a surgeon, but I think the cancer will be removed from the greater whole. I could probably make a few arrangements and try and arrange things, make arrangements on the side while you guys get information that will clear the thieves. I could go off and inquire and possibly deal with any stray elements of the guards that might be more of a hindrance.
I don't know if I would be quite the person to lead. The problem with this town is you need both the common, lesser fortunate people and the upper class assholes on your side, and while I have one, there is no way of me getting the other. But I know of a couple of people that I may be able to talk into doing it that would be able to win both sides. So it is an option, depending on how this ends up.
Could I kind of step forward and put my hand on Cyrus's shoulder and say, even before we get to that point, we need to first make sure that she is telling the truth.
Oh, of course.
We cannot share information with someone who we do not know if they are lying to us or not.
It's going to be fairly quick to figure out whether she's telling the truth or not. If we get to their headquarters and it's crawling with guards, they're supposedly too short staffed to be able to find missing children, yet not short staffed enough to be staking out a thieves guild. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious that she's telling the truth. If that is, if that does happen to be the case.
Although one of the rumors did say that the Thieves Guild were recruiting kids, so it wouldn't be too far-fetched if the guards we're about to corner the Thieves Guild. I'm not saying one side is right and the other side is wrong. I'm saying we need more evidence before we continue.
Yeah, I'll keep an open mind.
But I think we should make haste, as Latinia said.
Well, I'm ready to go right now.
Cyrus?
I'll pick up my book and fall back with the group. Ready when you are.
I'll look towards Ladinia to kind of start moving, and then we'll go.
Yes, let us go now. I give one last look at Jane before we.
Terra will show you out. She will lead you away, and she's like, "Thank you so much. I'm just hoping you get the information you need in time to save my ruby. I'll show you out. Please, just do what you can." And she'll take you out, and she'll press the buttons to open the statue, and she'll let you walk out, but she will not leave with you. She will stay where she is.
Before we head off, I do turn back to Terra and say, in your opinion, who has more to lose and more to gain? Would Jane have more to gain with Arton being deposed, or Arton have more to gain with Jane being framed?
It is, in my opinion, equal on either side. Artin would have a lot easier time without Jane around and the Starlings, without them stealing from the rich and causing unrest with us down the lower ends. But Jane would gain power and wouldn't have to hide in the shadows if Artin were gone. Both of them have as much to gain as they do to lose. I just want to find my child. I don't care who does it.
And just one more thing. Would any of them seem ruthless enough to put children in danger to further their own cause?
No, not to me, neither of them. Artin is grumpy and stressed and worn out, but he loves the kids of the village, of the town. He's always taking time to say hello and chat to them when he can, and Jane steals toys and brings special treats for them when she can. They both like each other, just in different ways.
Perhaps Ollie needs a good end with a few glasses of wine, and that would sort this entire situation out. Cyrus just says that with this, like, rubbing his forehead, just like, this entire situation is just complete and utter clusterfuck.
I wholeheartedly concur.
But I will wait here for you to bring the evidence back, and I'm hoping that it's not him. I am, but part of me is hoping that it is, because then I'll know where my child is. But just when you come back, when you're back, just knock on the statue 3 times, and I will come and I will open it.
Of course, we will return as soon as there is any information available. Thank you for answering my question so honestly.
be safe. And just be aware, Jane didn't mention it, but I know her guild there's traps around. I don't know if she's maybe thinking that the guards will have triggered them, but just in case, just be careful.
Of course, and thank you. And then we head off.
So I am about to call it there, so I don't know if anyone else would like to do a thing as they walk to the Thieves Guild.
No, I think I'm happy.
I'm all good.
The only
Nope.
thing I was going to do is cast aid on some people, but I can do that before we divide next time.
Yeah, I think 8 is like an hour, like a minute or something like that.
8 hours.
Oh, okay.
Indeed, I've got a spell that I might wish to use on someone, but that'll be next session.
Okay, cool. So we will call it there. I will turn off the stream as everyone is walking to the Thieves Guild to go investigate. I will say night stream.
Night stream.
Night stream.
Nice
Night
dream.
stream.
Ta-ta.
Next week.